Hi mates, and welcome back to my World of Tanks channel. I'm Antonov2 as usual, and in this video we'll be discussing 5 tips how you can improve your personal performance in your games and increase your win rate basically in World of Tanks. And these tips will be 5 kind of short guidelines which are so short to explain that I could not make a separate video for each of them, so I decided to just put them all together into this video. In the background you'll be seeing Ace Tanker gameplay of me in my T34-3. So let's get stuck right in, and the first and most important bit of advice that I can probably give you is to have the right mindset when you go into your World of Tanks random battle. And that is, at least I personally had this experience that a while ago, up till I think I had about 10,000 games or something almost, I very often went into my games with this kind of idea that I did not necessarily had to do very well. I just played to progress up the tech tree and not to actually win the game. As a consequence, I always did quite badly in my games because I just thought, well, it doesn't really matter how I perform, I'm going to get experience and so on anyway. And often I would just basically suicide in my tank, then exit to the garage and go into a battle with my next vehicle. And although obviously this way you will eventually unlock higher tier vehicles, it will take you a lot longer than if you would just simply play to your best ability and always try to win the game, because never forget that you get 50% more experience and credits if you win the game compared to when you lose it. And generally, if you play to win, you will usually be performing better than if you play to get experience. So that is, in my opinion, the most important tip. The second one is to platoon up with friends. Lately, there's been a feature introduced that you can now even platoon with up to 5 mates. With the more people you platoon, the better it is, because you'll be able to coordinate your movements and focus fire and stuff like that. And just 5 people, if you can be in a voice con with each other like Skype or TeamSpeak, then just by being able to coordinate your actions, you'll be able to have a way bigger impact on the game than if each of you would just be playing on your own, and it will really dramatically boost your win rate. Maybe not that significant, but also helpful, is to find a niche or a role in which you personally feel that you can perform the best and which is the most fun for you. That usually is one specific tank class, so for example light tank, a medium tank, heavy tank, stuff like that. For me personally, my preferred role is that of a roaming medium tank, so that's what I try to play the most, because generally if you enjoy playing the vehicle and it is a playstyle that kind of suits you, then you will be doing a lot better than if you kind of have to force yourself to play that tank just to progress up the tree. For example, I personally hate playing light tanks, and I don't really enjoy artillery either, so I generally don't play these vehicle classes at all. I try to focus on medium tanks and a little bit on heavy tanks, but not that much. Then, also what you can do for tip number 4 is watch your replays. Now, actually you should not watch replays of games that were really good, in which you got a top gun and stomped the entire enemy team, but especially in games where you kind of do mediocrely or even badly, if you have the time to spare and feel like doing so, you should open the replay file after you played the game, directly after you played the game, look at the replay and thoroughly analyze what went wrong for you in that game and what you could have done differently. If you trace back your decision making that way, you will be able to precisely find out what you do wrong, what your shortcomings are tactic wise in the game, and then probably in the next game you will be able to change what went wrong and do it differently, and thus improve your performance quite a lot. If you do not have the time to watch your replays, although this is a really good way of improving, then what you can alternatively do is, if you die in a battle, right after you die, don't exit to the garage immediately, but think why you died, if it was completely necessary, if it could have been avoided, and if that is the case, then how it could have been avoided. That also helps a lot already. And maybe one other minor tip that that I will add to that is that you should really try to take care of your health bar a lot. You should try to avoid dying as much as possible, and for the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game, you should really not be taking any damage at all. I mean, obviously this can vary from tank class to tank class. Obviously in heavy tanks sometimes it is your job to take damage, but still you'll be able to achieve a lot more if you reach the late stages of the game with the majority of your hit points left, so that can also help. And for my fifth and last tip, and obviously this is a bit biased, and probably this is going to sound a bit ridiculous if I say it, but what can really help is watch YouTube videos. And obviously I'm trying to advertise for my channel here at this point, but it's still, and not only my channel, but there are other great educational YouTube channels out there. If you watch videos, and not necessarily the fun or troll videos in which people are being dicks or just having a fun time blocking their teammates and such, but if you watch videos in which people actually explain the game mechanics to you and tactics and kind of unique features about each vehicle, watching these videos and watching people who are better at the game than you are can really help you improve, because a lot of the time players with above 2000 or even about 1500 wn8 will have a completely different understanding of the game compared to players who have about 1000 wn8, and watching the decision making and playstyle of these players will really help you out. So I hope you enjoyed this video, or far more, I hope that you're educational. If you did, consider liking it or even subbing. And yeah, I'll be outputting some more videos in the future, so please make sure to check those out. Maybe I'll see you in one of them, or even on the battlefield. And bye bye.